Talk to me honestly.
Made a map with all the stars, so you know you're not too far away from me. You're in light when it's my dark. I know this distance makes it hard for us to see. I've been waiting so long, I've been waiting so long, just to see you. I've been sleeping alone, I don't wanna let go. I can't forget you.
Up in the stars. Now I know I'm not too far away from you. I want you back inside my arms. This distance got me feeling so alone. It's true. I've been waiting so long.
Welcome, everybody, from Seattle, Washington. Welcome to the show about everything and nothing. We are the Coffee and Codecast, a tech podcast where we talk about neither coffee or code. I'm Kyle Johnson.
The Seinfeld of coffee and codecasts.
There you go.
Hey, Kyle, I'm Mike Sheehan, your co-host here.
Hey, welcome.
Just in case you forgot.
Yep.
It's episode 62, coming to you live from the 12th Man Studios, 5th
Quote
floor.
Wizard Boardroom.
Queued-up boardroom, home of the aspen trees. It's a great place up here. Good to be here with everybody tonight. We got a lot of news to cover. We have some show news, talking about some new equipment upgrades. We're going to talk about some Denver travel, a little follow-up.
Follow-up.
We've got a spin update.
Oh, shit.
Just came out yesterday. Not really a whole lot to cover there.
The spin didn't come out yesterday.
The spin zone.
All right.
And we have some in the news. Oh, I saw that. The meme. The the lawsuit thing, right?
Yeah, that's going to be a fun one.
We'll talk about that. And then you have a great idea.
Yeah.
That's debatable. What is this about?
We'll get into that.
All right. Well, that'll be good. We have a lot to cover in 60 minutes. We're probably not going to get through it all, but whatever. We'll give it a shot.
It happens.
All right. Well, great. Let's get it kicked off here, brother. So, it is kind of exciting. We do have some new equipment that we got the last week. How you doing, first of all, before I get into the series, all the equipment and all that good stuff?
All the money that we spent.
All the money the big spend January that I was promoting last week.
I'm doing great.
Yeah. You and Slayer both, huh? That's nice. How's Slayer doing tonight?
You're doing great.
Oh, that's good, dude.
No, I'm good. Everything's good. Work's good. Home life's good. Traveling to Denver next week. We'll talk about that here in a bit.
Yeah, you're going back on the road.
Yep.
I'll be gone this weekend too. I'm taking a little trip myself. So
Where are you going?
Going to KC.
KC, Kansas City, Mo.
Kansas City.
Back to the old Midwest.
Heading to the Midwest, man.
Is it going to be cold?
I haven't looked at the weather yet. I'll be indoors. It's fine. Probably is. It can't be. Well, it actually could be quite worse than here.
You'll have a false feeling of warmth.
What? It might be sunny and cold. No, it's fucking cold. It's 31 right now.
Yep. The booze will keep you warm. Don't worry.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to pack some extra Fireball for the trip. There you go. Yep.
That's not
like
Fireball, I guess. But
that's we'll have some Coors Light too.
There you go.
You know, maybe a little Fireball would be good as well. Looks like it'll be 43 on Friday, 46 and sunny. Sunday will be nice. 61 on Sunday.
Hell yeah.
Super Bowl Sunday.
You gonna go to the beach that day?
going to go to the Kansas City beach, aka the Missouri River, and get swept up in some swamp trash and logs and duck shit or whatever's in there. I don't even know.
Sounds nice, yeah.
Sounds lovely.
Get sucked underneath, yeah.
Get
hit
sucked
by a
into
barge.
the undertow and a bunch of flying debris. I don't know. It'll be just lovely. Kansas City will be fun. I used to go down to Kansas City quite a bit when I was in the Big O, Omaha. It was about really like a 3-hour drive, but if you put the pedal to the metal, 2.5 hours, you get your ass down there.
Yeah, it's not too bad. It's an easy drive. It's nice, kind of rolling hills.
Yep.
Yep.
So, going with a buddy. Going to watch Super Bowl down there at some Kansas City bar.
You gonna wear your Seahawks gear?
Why not?
You should.
I'm sure as fuck not going to wear Kansas City gear. I'll tell
You're
you
just
that.
gonna get heckled.
Yeah, that's fine. I can take that. I get that anyway, man.
All right.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Gonna go down there for a little bit and rack up a few miles. I'm gonna put this one on the old Alaska. This will be my first Alaska travel this year.
Now hold on. I thought you were not gonna do Alaska anymore.
Well, this was a companion. I don't know. I'm primarily flying Delta.
Yeah, here we go. We're waffling again.
Yeah, I'm waffling again. I'm really struggling with it because there are times when Alaska is the better option. I think I just have to I think here's the situation. What I have to do is either give up one or the other, which I don't really want to do right now, or just make sure that I have gold on Delta. As long as I can get gold, then I'll settle with MVP on Alaska for the times that it's cheaper to do that. But otherwise, I'm going to go big on Delta. I love Delta. And I've already got a nice accrual because I had some rollover miles that we talked about. So I'm already I started the year with like 6,000 miles, and I already took a trip on Delta. So
Sounds like you just need to do a lot of flying.
more flying.
Yep.
That's the deal, man.
Very good.
Yeah, so that's the situation there. But we did make some purchases since the last show. And we have a few new cases, so we can take the show on the road. Speaking of mileage runs.
That's part of it. I mean, part of it was, the fact that it can travel. That's like a nice byproduct. But the big part of it is now that all this gear, the road board, the mics, the stands, everything that we use on the show, some of the video equipment that we have that you can't see, all can go in one case, and it can just be wheeled in here, and we can unload it. Before we were like carrying, the board in by itself or in a cardboard box, and we had mic stands that were on desks, and you'd have to disassemble them and carry them in here, reassemble them. It's just a lot of tear up and set up and tear down.
A lot of setup and tear down. A lot of now expensive equipment we've accrued over the last 2.5 years of doing this. And I had it in a linen sack.
Yep.
In a desk drawer. Like the microphone is a $400 microphone, 2 of them just sitting there on top of each other. Not a good idea.
With a bunch of other crap in there.
So yeah, I got this awesome, not affordable by any means, but it's good for the gear. It'll protect the gear, but it's a big Pelican case really that has wheels and extendo handle. And I can check that on the airplane or just wheel it in here. It was really nice to bring everything in today without having to make multiple trips. And it's all secure. It's all locked up and holds everything. All the video streaming equipment, the microphones, it's great.
Custom fit, too, for the road board, which is pretty amazing. Like, this thing sits perfectly.
It was designed for that in mind,
Yep.
Yeah.
So everything fits in there really nicely. We just wheeled that thing in here, set everything up. We'll pack it all back in there and wheel it back to your desk and be done.
Yeah,
Won't have to, because also, like, I work down on the 3rd floor. We're on the 5th floor, and I'd have to make multiple trips up and down to bring my stuff up or down. So this will make it a lot easier.
Yeah.
Same thing. I got another one as well for work, primarily because I travel to Denver. Same issues apply here, right? I'm traveling back and forth. Before I was sticking this mic like in my checked bag.
Right.
Sometimes I would
Shoving
carry it
in
like
there in between a
in
pair
with-
of socks.
Yeah, exactly. So just not treating the gear very well. So now I have a nicer case that I can just check. TSA approved, all that kind of stuff. It's also Pelican.
Heavy duty, designed for air travel.
Exactly, yep.
So that thing can take some abuse. I watch those guys load shit up onto the plane. They don't give a fuck.
Hell yeah,
man.
that's exactly it.
You
never know what they're going to do with that thing. Crush it, whatever. So, yeah, keep all the gear protected. Keep it in good shape. We've got a lot of investment here, so it's the least we could probably do, right?
The people that are in those positions aren't exactly motivated to protect anything. When I worked at UPS way back in the day, there were some cats that just didn't, were frustrated for whatever reason. The fact that it was 30 degrees inside the warehouse in the middle of January in Omaha, and they just were, and it was 3 a.m. But I remember some dudes, not all the time, but there was a couple guys that just Had some anger management issues. And like would take a box that had like 18 Fragile stickers and just like chuck it into the back of the truck.
I figured.
Cool. Not cool, man.
I figured you were going to just say chuck it against a wall or something.
They weren't that bad, but it was pretty bad. I don't know. So anyway, the Pelican case protects, man. You can drop that thing. It'll take a hit.
Heavy duty plastic, or I don't know, maybe it's not plastic.
I think it's like ABS plastic. I don't know. There's all kinds of specs on this thing, but it's got some really nice heavy duty, thick foam walls on the inside.
Yep.
And
heavy duty latches. You could probably jump up and down on that thing and it wouldn't even
Yeah.
buckle.
yeah, it's fine. It's
Yep.
robust.
Yep.
Very nice. So we have 2 cases for all the gears now, and I quite like it a lot. It's very good. I'm happy. I'm glad that we did it. We should have done it a long time ago, but at least we have it now.
Agreed.
There you go.
What do we got next? February Denver trip. So as you know, I go to the Denver office of our company here.
Oh, you do?
Once every month.
From time to time.
Time to time. This time you're not going though, so
I wish I could. I wish I had a reason to go, but
you do have a reason. You have employees there.
yeah, I don't know how much I can push that travel policy.
In any event, I'll be in Denver next Wednesday when we do the show. So it'll be another what do we call it? Double ender.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll be here, I'll be there. What does that mean for video? Because we're both here, we're on the video. But what do we want to do for that?
I think I'm going to take the camera and put it right where you're sitting and just have a close up of this beautiful physique right here.
All right, okay. People are just going to look at you the whole time?
They're going to check me out here the whole time.
Fair enough, man.
And they can hear you, which is still good. They can always hear what you have to say, but they're not going to be able to see you. That's too bad.
You'll just be sitting there like...
No, be talking. What do you think about that?
Yeah.
I'll be sucking on some hot tamales like I am right now.
Oh, yeah, by the way, we're sponsored by Hot Tamales again this week. The fine people at Hot Tamales. Is
They're great.
that the company? Is there like a parent to Hot Tamales?
Yeah, it's probably like Mars or whatever. Don't
Yeah.
they own M&M?
I don't
and all
know.
that shit. I can certainly look it up. I have the old internet workstation right here.
While you look it up, we'll move on to a little bit of follow-up here. We've talked a couple of times about my wonderful eye problems that I've been having this year. This has been last year was like the year of eye problems for me. Like it went for like 9 months.
You getting old or what, man? What's going on?
Well, I am getting old. That's a whole different problem. But yeah, I had like a lot of had an eye infection. I had something called iritis, which I didn't even know existed. But ultimately, it all manifested in like eye irritation.
Yeah, you were wearing glasses for months.
Hell yeah, which I hate. Anyway, finally we've cleared it up, or seemingly have cleared it up. I've got 4 full weeks of being clear of eye irritation. And the main culprit seems to have been the whole time contacts. And not just like I've worn contacts for years, but like this was like the newest prescription that I got. For whatever reason, those just freaked my eyes out. And now I've been moved on to daily disposables, which I think you've always told me you really like.
Yeah, I was reluctant for many years because of the price. They're dailies, so you're paying a lot more for contacts than 2-week disposables. But it's fixed a lot of my eye strain and dry eye issues in front of the computer.
And it was the same for me. They were like, this is going to cost you probably $300 more a year, something like that, $300 or $400.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I don't care at this point. Like, I'll throw money at the problem. If it solves it, like, great. That's fine.
Well, you were having lots. It was very disruptive for you for a while there, so it makes sense because you were also paying for exams and other things to keep going back because you couldn't figure it out.
Yep.
So, makes sense.
So, very excited to be over that shit. Hopefully, the new year means that I can stop dealing with that. So, I ordered a whole year's worth of dailies, which have you ever done that?
I did get a whole year of dailies, yes.
How big is the stack of boxes?
It's a fucking big box, dude. It's like, and I'm like inside the big box are many smaller boxes, and I'm still on the first small box.
Nice. Okay.
Because I extend mine out. I wear them for 2 days or 3 days at a time.
Okay. Well, I'm supposed to get those on Friday, so I'm looking forward to seeing how big of a package this is going to be.
It's like, I don't know. It's like a HelloFresh size box, maybe a little smaller.
Jesus. All right. I don't know where I'm going to store all that, but okay.
I just threw mine under the sink.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell to do either.
Nice.
So follow up here, the wonderful folks at Hot Tamales. Just Born Incorporated is the candy place in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania.
What else do they make?
You might have heard of Peeps before.
Oh, they make Peeps. Those are gross.
Peeps Peanut Chews.
Oh,
Mike and
are those
Ike's.
circus peanuts?
I don't know if it's circus peanuts. Let me
Oh.
open it up here. Yeah, well, maybe. I don't know what the fuck that is. Let's see. Fresh roasted peanuts and molasses drenched in dark milk and chocolate
No, that sounds different.
And then they do, that's it. Peanut Chews, Mike and Ike, Just Born Jelly Beans, Hot Tamales, Peeps and Company. What do you think about that, Kim?
That's amazing.
Awesome. I agree. These are pretty good.
Very good. What else we got in follow-up? Oh, we got Mike cooking some shit. What's going on here?
Dude, I've been working the kitchen lately.
You have? You've been doing some HelloFresh?
I do HelloFresh now. I got a good rhythm going. I got a good cadence right now. So what I'm doing is I got HelloFresh twice a month. So let's just say week 1, HelloFresh shows up on Monday. And then I have 3 meals in there. But it's like for 2 persons, right? 2 servings. So I usually do like a lunch, a dinner, and then a lunch. All right. I shouldn't have. You picked a bad time to get me. I got the hot tamale going here. Anyway, it's a lot more sensitive in my earphones than it is online. I think.
You hope anyway.
Yeah, it sounds really nasty right now. I'm gonna put that down next time. Anyway, yeah, that's the deal, man. So week 1, I get the fucking HelloFresh with 3 meals, and that gets me through the week because I have some other stuff in the house too, right? It's not the only thing, but the second week I'll do like Prime Now, and I'll get either Whole Foods from Whole Foods or Amazon has a lot of stuff from the Amazon store, and then I'll do HelloFresh again the next week, and Amazon Whole Foods the 4th week. So alternate. I stagger it that way. It makes it more reasonable. I'm using a lot more of the ingredients that I buy and the items that I buy. I'm not throwing things out nearly as much as I did when I was just going to the store. So I like that a lot. But yeah, I fired up the old Instant Pot, and I've been wanting to make yogurt. I've just been curious. Like, I know you can make it. I saw the yogurt button on there for 3 years. Didn't know how it worked. And so I was just curious. And so, yeah, I did an order last week from Prime Now, and a half a gallon of organic whole milk. And 8 hours later, I had a half gallon of yogurt. It's pretty easy, man. You just put it in there, and there's like a yogurt button. You hit it to boil. It takes like 30 minutes to boil the milk. It's done. You got to cool it down to 115. Ideal temperature. And then that's the bacteria, because you have to add like yogurt or some kind of cultured, right? You have to have with yogurt with active cultures. You throw that shit in there and a couple tablespoons, stir it up, and then put it onto the cook setting or the ferment setting or whatever, and it basically just goes in there for 8 hours at like 115 degrees. Perfect environment for the little cultures that are in there to get to work. And then, yeah, it coagulates, and it's like a big pot of yogurt.
That's interesting. I figured you always had to strain that, almost like cheese or something, like through a cheesecloth.
There are variations to the recipe, and if you're doing Greek yogurt, that is one additional step in the process. I just took the lazy way to do it. I just did regular. I didn't do Greek. I think if you do that, you need to put that in a container with like a cheesecloth and then let it drip overnight. I didn't really feel like doing that, so I just did it the regular way and threw it in some jars, and it was great, man. And then you can add vanilla or fruit or whatever you want to add. And
how long is it good for?
10 days.
10 days?
About 10. I think
to get through what, a gallon or a half gallon?
Half gallon. Yeah, half gallon.
Quite a bit of yogurt.
Yeah, we'll see how it works. I brought some to work in the ball jar kind of a thing. And in the morning, I usually have it with granola or something like that. And so I figured I'd see if I do it every day, how far that would get me. But in theory, I have breakfast for 2 weeks ready to go.
Sweet. You going to do it again?
Yeah, I'd like to. I'd like to do it again. We'll see. I think if it creates a lot of waste, then probably not. I don't know how much I can eat by myself. I might try to do it with like half the recipe next time. I just don't know how that changes the cook times. Maybe not. Maybe it doesn't matter. I'll try maybe having it and seeing if it still works. Or do a quart of whole milk or something like that.
Excellent.
But it was fun. It was really cool, man. So I've been doing that, making other meals. I've been eating a lot cleaner. Been cooking food at home almost every day for the last few weeks here.
Sweet. That's a big change.
Big change.
Hell yeah.
I'm gaining weight right now, so it's not really working on the scale, but I think it's still the right thing to do.
Could be the hot tamales and the Sprite.
That doesn't help. Yeah, that's true.
All right, man, let's move on. We got spin update. Biatch.
Biatch.
That's what it says in the notes, by the way.
I did put that in there. Damn it, the timing sucks. I just ate another hot tamale. Man.
Oh, you need me to cover you here for a few minutes while you chew through those hot tamales?
Oh, so good. Dude, I got a spin update. People are getting really fucking irritated now because like they sent out the Christmas update and it was like, hey, thank you so much for your patience. Like now, like, the first batch in LA, like the pre Kickstarter people got their machines and everybody loves it. And then they went to CES in January and had a booth and everybody there was trying the coffee and talking about how great it was, and everybody's like, fuck you, like I'm tired of everybody else trying my coffee except for me. Like I ordered this thing, you still haven't provided any shipping dates, you keep saying that it's around the corner any day now, pretty soon. And then the bomb they dropped on this one was like, so yeah, like we'll have more detailed shipping information on the next update, which means sometime in February, you know, like the end of February. However, it's the Chinese New Year, dude. And so I remember this from when I was in manufacturing, when I was at Stanley, dude. Like Chinese New Year, like everything shuts down for 3 weeks. So, you know, they neglected to mention, like, hey, folks, like we're not going to be able to do anything for almost the whole month of January because everybody's going to be on holiday in China, right? And effectively that's what's going on. It was the 25th. So, like, they might be back to work on Monday doing shit, but otherwise nothing happened all month. So, and then they showed, people are getting pretty critical now. Like they showed a picture of apparently like the first batch of machines leaving the factory, and it was like a little DHL Sprinter van, and they're like, "What are you shipping them like 5 at a time? Like how many spin coffee makers are in a fucking Sprinter van?" You know, we were expecting to see like semi trucks like backed up, like getting ready to get these things out of here.
What? But they had a working one at CES. Like people were able to use it, interact with it.
Yeah, I mean, they claim that these aren't prototypes. These are actually off the assembly line machines, right? That these are supposed to be the final product. I don't know if I believe them. I don't really trust what they say right now because they're just so, like, they're not so much like coming out with like blatant lies. They're just like omitting truths. Like they just don't give you all the information. So
They're spinning.
yeah, they like to spin. There you go. That's very good. It's very clever. Very
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, man. So I don't know what to think. I would like to believe that they're assembling these things. Like the last update did have photos of the assembly line and then putting the machines together and boxes that supposedly had spin coffee makers in them. All of that.
It's just a pretty packaging.
Yeah, like I don't know what to believe anymore. Like when it shows up on my doorstep, then I'll actually I bring it here to the Coffee and Codecast, plug it in, and put some coffee beans in there. Then we'll decide if it actually lived up to the promise.
Man, that's going to be a great day.
It really is.
One fine day.
It's been 3 years and 2 months in the making, so I can't wait.
That's true. I mean, you said what? We've been doing the podcast 2.5 years, and,
Yeah.
and it predates the podcast.
It's older than the podcast. Since that's happened, our distribution system was rewritten. Like several skyscrapers were built in downtown Seattle. 62 episodes of the Coffee and Codecast were created after the birth of the podcast that never wasn't in existence at the time. Much has happened.
And four spin on coffee makers have been shipped.
To the earliest backers. I mean, which is just a sham anyway. Like that you have the pre-backers. Like nobody ever heard of pre-backers for years, and then all of a sudden, like when the shipping's imminent, it's like, yes, our pre-backer group received them. I'm like, are we gonna find out now that there's like 8 lines? It's like boarding the plane, and there's 8 more lines of like pre-backers before the first shipment goes out. I don't know. So we'll see.
Friends and family.
Yeah, That's right. That's right. The friends and family backers, the LA backers, and the Indiegogo backers, because that came before Kickstarter. I mean, who knows how far back it can go.
Wait, was Indiegogo was before Kickstarter?
I'm just making it up, but
Okay.
it wouldn't surprise me if they just let that detail out next month. Oh,
Gotcha,
well,
okay.
it'll be there as soon as we get our Indiegogo backers.
Got it. Okay.
I don't know. It was a lot. It was another lengthy shit. Yeah, shipping is imminent. Yep. Lex, like, that's my favorite line.
Maybe, possibly next year.
Depends on your definition of imminent at this
Yeah.
point. I'd really like to question that. I don't know, because they said that back in November, and it's been 3 months since then now.
Yeah.
Anyway, I spent way too much time on it, but, now they're trying to blame the Chinese for their New Year, for the delays. I don't know. I think if I can get something here, maybe in March. I don't know. I really don't know.
Yep.
Because I mean, it takes a long time to clear customs and shit.
Oh, yeah. I suppose I hadn't considered that too.
Like, they have to actually get the factory workers back in the factory after the holiday.
Get them
Assemble
on
the
a
shit,
container ship.
load the container ship. I mean, what is DHL driving onto the container? I don't know. That's the whole thing. It's like DHL has it somewhere, then it's got to go on the container ship.
Yep.
They got to label it and do all the customs shit that they do. I mean, they're certainly not going to air freight it, so it's going to be on a boat for a few weeks.
Yep. Sitting in the port for a few weeks.
Yeah, it's going to be down here. I can probably be staring at the container from my building over here for a while. Yeah, it's going to be a little while.
Yep.
Maybe
Well,
March.
Good. Fodder for the show. That means the show can go on.
The show will go on.
Yeah.
Once
Should
it arrives, we have nothing else to talk about. We retire the show. I think that's it. It's the end.
Okay. We could do that.
That's our final episode. Is like once the coffee machine arrives, we make our final machine, or make our final Alexa coffee, and turn the lights off.
The final goodbye is just a big slurp of the spin coffee. Yeah.
Oh, this sucks. This was a waste of time. Nope, that's the end of the series. guys.
Nice.
Thanks. Yep. Sorry about that.
Do you know who Iowa House Representative Steve King is?
I really don't know much. I've heard of the name. I don't know this character. I looked him up the other day because of the story.
Oh, man.
Is he a character?
So good news is my hometown, my little hometown that I grew up in, he represents that district.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I'm pretty familiar. He's a character.
What is this? Iowa Republican receives cease and desist for using a beloved kid meme. So the lefties stay triggered.
So yeah, Steve King. He's a like I said, an Iowa House Republican, and he is known for saying some pretty crazy shit. We don't talk a ton of politics on the show, but in this particular story, because it does deal with technology, we'll bring it up. But just to give you some context here, I have a couple of quotes from good old Representative Steve King here out of Iowa. Oh yeah, see, my sister's like, oh God. Here's a quote. Why does racism have such a negative stigma? Direct quote.
Why does racism have such a negative? Okay, he's really warming up
Yep.
the hearts of the voters here.
So here's another one. We could also electrify this wire. He's talking about the wall.
Oh boy.
He's like, we can also electrify this wire with the kind of current that would not kill somebody, but it would be a discouragement for them to be fooling around with it. We do that with livestock all the time.
Oh no, dude. Wow. Oh, now people are like cattle. Okay, that's interesting.
And the last one, and maybe the best one. Unicorns, leprechauns, gay marriages in Iowa. These are all things you will never find because they just don't exist.
Oh boy. And yet, folks, somehow he's managed to find his way into office.
This guy's been in office a long time. That's the sad part.
And for a long time.
Yeah.
Oh,
He
wow.
continually gets reelected, which is very sad. But that's not the story here. The story is that he used a particular meme image, which I think everybody's probably familiar with. You might not know it by its name, which is called the Success Kid, but it's like this little chubby-faced kid in a green shirt that's kind of like doing the yes, right?
Yeah, that's a popular meme. That's been out for years. That
Yeah.
kid's grown up now, isn't he, or something? Like a teenager or something?
That's a good question. I don't know. That'd be an interesting follow-up to find
I
out.
thought I saw that somewhere. Like this kid. I mean, this kid was probably, what, a couple of years old? 1 or 2?
Yeah, he was pretty young in that image, right?
And
Sitting on a beach somewhere.
yeah, I'm pretty sure he's like a teenager now.
Yep.
I saw that in a different article, not the one that you have here. But-
Okay.
So what the hell's Steve King doing with these memes?
So he used that image on his Facebook, I believe it was, to effectively poll or get people to donate
Yeah.
to his fundraising. So said fund our memes, and it was that and a link to his fundraising or a fundraiser of some variety. So it brought up an interesting question because now the mother of the child that's in the meme basically said, just so it's clear, I would never give my permission to use my son's photo to promote any agenda of this vile man or of that disgusting party.
Well, that's the subheadline of this article on The Verge. Success Kid is not a Steve King supporter, his mom says.
Yeah, exactly. So it kind of all comes down to like, is there any kind of legal action that can be taken against a meme image? Which in traditional sense, like traditional photography sense, there's copyrights that govern
Sure.
your images, and you protect those copyrights. But in the case of a meme, the whole point of it is distribution, and anybody can use it and remix it and reuse it, right? And it can be changed into all kinds of different variations. So that's kind of the whole idea of a meme. So like, can you control usage of a meme image like that?
How did it get out there in the first place?
That's
They posted it, right? I mean,
I don't know the answer to that, to be honest. Like, what was the origination? Like, why did it become a big meme?
well, I don't know. I mean, I'm guessing she took the photo and thought it was funny and then posted it somewhere on social
It
media.
says here, Griner, the mother, first uploaded the image of the then 11-month-old Sammy eating sand on a beach wearing a determined expression on his face to her Flickr page. The following year, the photo began appearing on MySpace. Holy shit, that's old. Often, yeah, so he's got to be very, very grown up.
Kim was quick to point out that true story, the Success Kid actually was eating sand.
It does say that, so yeah.
Yuck.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's not what that's not the look on his face says. I challenge that.
Yeah, so later became, an advice animal meme used to signal victory over an obstacle.
Oh, it's used everywhere. I mean,
Yeah.
I've seen this thing on Reddit like 100 times a day.
Yeah. So the image was originally licensed to Getty Images, and then it just kind of got spread out all over the place. So, yeah, it's just a fascinating story because, there's legal actions on both sides that you could kind of argue either way, that it should be protected or shouldn't be protected.
I don't know the law well enough to say. I have no idea. There's certain... It depends on the nature of the photograph. I mean, like if it was a nude photo, then you could get them for like child pornography or something. But I don't know.
Well, that'd be a whole different story then.
It's a whole different story. We're
Yeah.
not talking about like distribution there at that point the same way. It's a different deal. But I don't know. I'm not sure as far as something that's been, floated out there.
But a lot of it comes back down to like, do you protect your copyright on the image? So like if it's a viral meme, in other words, everybody's sharing it and you don't protect it, you don't take steps to protect it, just like you would of like a brand.
Right.
Then it's implied license. Like you are implying that you don't care if people redistribute it. And so therefore like that opens it up to not have any copyright claim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting, man. There's like there's been precedent there, like with property rights as well. I thought there was a story somewhere in Chicago or Indiana. I mean, it happens all over the place, but like this particular example where two neighbors lived next door to each other for years, like 20, 30 years. And maybe back in the day there was no fence. And then at some point in time, a fence was installed, but it wasn't installed correctly. So it overlapped. It was actually in the neighbor's property line. It extended into the property line like some number of feet, but it stayed that way for a long time, like 5 or 10 years. I don't remember how long it was. But anyway, like after they moved out or died or whatever happened and new people came in, they found out like, hey, look, this fence is like encroaching on my property line and I want to move it back. And I don't remember like all the laws around that either, but I think that they lost that particular case because like, look, it was used in this manner, this way for so long, uncontested, like everybody accepted the fact it was being used in this way. So no, like now all of a sudden, like this is the way it is. Like the fence is going to stay in place.
So it's not like an easement per se, not a written, documented grant of that land or whatever, but it's just because like it was that way for so long that it kind of just becomes grandfathered.
Something like that. Like I don't understand how it works, but essentially like, like that became part of his property and you can't move it now. I don't know. It was a really interesting case. And I've heard of that happening before. So to your point with the images, maybe it's something like that. Well, it wasn't a problem before, but now you don't like the fact that he's using it. What rights do you really have at that point?
The other argument on the other side is like, do you make money from it, or have you made money from it?
Well, that
and
could
like,
be different.
Yeah. So then, in that case, it was licensed at one point and sold to Getty Images, and so therefore there was money being made on it at one point. But then again, it was widely distributed, and you didn't attempt to stop that. So like, yeah, it's an interesting argument, and especially when it becomes to meme images and stuff like this, because again, that's like the whole reason for them is to be distributed like that.
Well, that's very interesting. I have no idea what to say about it.
There was a
Funny.
cease and desist put up. He was supposed to have not been using it as of 9 a.m. Pacific time today, I believe.
But that doesn't, and so if not, like, I guess what basis do they have? Like, if he doesn't follow through on that, what are they going to do? What are they suing him for?
I don't know if they were suing him or just sending him the cease and desist at that point. I don't know. I mean,
that's usually the start, right? It's like, we'll start with the cease and desist and then threaten to sue you if you don't do anything.
Yeah.
I just wonder if their suit has any merit. I don't know how that works.
And the other part is like, he's using money. He's making money from the image, right? Versus her making money from the image. So him taking her work and making money off of it, that's also a problem. So, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, just an interesting... I thought the story was pretty fascinating, and it piqued my interest because Steve King's a fucking wacko.
Hang on a second. What do we have here? Oh, turn my volume up.
Oh, sorry. Nope.
Whoa, hey, what the fuck's going on
See,
there?
you don't ever turn off your damn. That's why I have to keep the volume down.
Oh,
You're doing great.
hey, screw it, Slayer. I don't want to hear about it.
And I was, thanks to the good work of Congressman King, I was severely disappointed.
I think he'll still be around, though.
But I think he'll be around. But I'll tell you what.
Never
in
mind.
That hall today, that hall
I have
is
no
wired.
long-
That hall is wired
Go ahead and
by
kill it.
loud-
I have no idea how long that's going to go on for. I thought I got some good sound bites out of there right out the gate, but it's like a whole panel discussion.
All right.
Never mind. I tried.
Good job.
I fucked that one up. So
We weren't prepared. It's fair. It's fine.
talk about your great idea.
Dude, man, I had a great idea on the bus. So we were doing a lot of drinking on the snowboarding, the bus to the mountain, Crystal Mountain.
That was a doozy.
That was fun.
That was a great trip.
People were doing fireball shots at 8 in the morning.
So I had a tat sandwich in my possession for breakfast on the bus at like
Mm-hmm.
8 o'clock. And
Yep.
then I didn't even barely get a bite in before the bottle of Fireball started getting passed around on the bus.
Yep.
It's not a good combination.
Yeah.
I took a little Fireball. I got to tell you, a tat sandwich and Fireball, like a breakfast, like a sausage, egg, and sandwich with Fireball is not exactly the great way to start your day.
Grease bomb sandwich with, fireball shots.
With cinnamon whiskey.
Yeah. Why not?
Who knew?
So, we went from, 8 a.m. till we got back, 5, 6 o'clock?
Yeah, I think so. We left the mountain around 3:30, 4 o'clock. And it was an hour and a half. So, yeah, probably about that.
Plenty of alcohol consumed. A lot of people passing out on the bus. It was a pretty good trip.
There was some early snoozers. And I don't think it was from the skiing.
No, I don't think so either. So anyway, during this outing, I had a meeting that I had to have with my team because we were doing some kind of a scale out on a particular critical system, and so I was just kind of listening in. I wasn't really participating or saying anything in the meeting. And somebody handed me a Coors Light in the course of the meeting,
Oh,
and so I, cracked it open.
did one of those.
Yeah. And was just drinking a beer, listening to the meeting. And I was like, are you familiar with the shower beer?
Oh, indeed.
Yeah, have you done the shower beer before?
I mean, I started that in college, man.
Good.
I don't do it anymore, but that was a big deal in college. Like I remember because we were on the cross country team, and that was our version of the frat. I mean, I wasn't in a fraternity. That was the fraternity, I guess. So, quick side story there, but we would save our stipend money. Like we were allowed to get, I don't know, a per diem for food on the road because we traveled for events, for races. And we would go, we would get $50 for the weekend or per day, actually. We'd get $50 a day or something like that. And we would go to McDonald's and get like $2 in cheeseburger, 2 cheeseburgers. And that'd be our meal. And then we'd take the other $48 and just buy booze and shove it in our gym bags and fill up bathtubs with ice from the hotel and just have the, a crest of the top of the bathtub full of beer. It was like a whole, so anyway, that was, some of our favorite things to do on the cross country trips. But yeah, that would be another popular thing is crack a beer while you're taking a shower. Boom, one of those.
So what is the allure exactly of the shower beer in your eyes?
It's just, there's no point. I mean, you're just keep drinking while you're cleaning. I think, I mean, there is a little bit of this kind of yin and yang kind of effect where you're taking a hot shower and you have a cold beer. So it kind of feels nice. It's almost like if you're in a hot tub and you're drinking a beer in the hot tub, it's refreshing, right? Same thing in the shower, I guess.
It's like being on a hot sandy beach instead it's a hot shower, drinking your Coronas.
What is this? We got a little Twitch message. It's empty here.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Somebody's messaging us on Twitch.
I don't know Leg Breaker 45.
Neither do I. Thanks for joining us, Leg Breaker 45.
Yep. It's empty here. Well, you're here now, so it's not. So thank you. Appreciate that.
Thanks for filling the void.
Have you ever,
anyway, the
have you
whole
ever taken
idea.
a shower with a beer before?
No, I have not.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
But I have coined meeting beer.
Meeting beer.
I don't
instead
think
of
I
shower
came up
beer.
with that. Yeah, meeting beer. It was a great experience. I highly recommend it. Just sitting there listening to a meeting and drinking a beer makes it so much better.
I mean, it would be just boring otherwise. So why not have a beer while you're in the meeting?
Exactly.
That's great.
That's my great idea.
It's
a $1 million idea.
I don't know how we're going to talk about that for 25 minutes, but
25 minutes.
That's the topic for today.
Oh,
yeah,
there's more down there.
Oh, I thought that's all you had for the topic. I'm thinking to myself, how many variations of beer drinking
Well,
things can we come up with
You
in
got
25 minutes?
IPA meeting beer, and you have
Oh, yeah.
Hefeweizen meeting beer. Yeah.
I'm actually quite amazed that this hasn't been a more popular activity here at the office, to be quite honest with you, for all the beer drinking that occurs at this place.
That's very true. I mean, there is no shortage of alcohol consumed in this office.
And I don't typically see people having meeting beers. Maybe
Sounds
they do, and they're just like in a paper cup or something like that.
true.
They're hiding out.
That could be it.
There are some meetings where
Closet beers.
closet beer drinkers, yeah, closet beers. They don't want to come out yet, man.
Right.
But they're doing it. Yeah. I don't want to get anybody in trouble, so I'm not going to go too further down that road. But yeah, great idea. What a brilliant idea. I like that.
I mean, I have my best ideas while drinking a beer.
Hey, that's like that's why the shower. Maybe that's the beauty of the shower beer. You have your best ideas drinking a beer,
True.
and a lot of people have their best ideas taking a shower.
Shower thoughts?
So if you have a shower beer, then maybe you have double the chance of some brilliance.
That's amazing.
I know. I've got some good ideas myself. Thank you. I appreciate that. What are we talking about here?
Oh, man. Yeah, the next topic that I put in here was back to management again. We've talked about that, I think, 3 weeks in a row or 2 weeks in a row.
Management.
Management. We both are managers.
Oh, that's true.
And yeah, didn't you know that? And what just came up recently now is that it's compensation time.
It's compensation time.
So everybody's getting their raises. Well, hopefully people are getting raises.
I hope so. I'd like to see that happen for me personally, because I haven't had that experience yet, but we'll see.
Yeah, that'd be great. So we all got our details in our tool that we use to manage employees' compensation, time off, etc.
Sure.
And it's the first time that I've had to go through anything like this, I guess. I don't know how I missed out on this before because I've been a manager for more than a year.
What happened last year that wasn't on your list of responsibilities?
I don't feel like it was, or it was done by Brian or something.
Somebody else did it.
Somebody else took care of it. So this is the first year that I've had to deal with compensation in this way.
Yeah, same here, man.
And it's interesting. I mean, we haven't even gone through the whole experience, but the very first thing that came to me kind of was like, wow, like this is where, as a manager, like the rubber really meets the road. Like here, you know, I've dealt with these people for like years, and I've been able to assist in various ways on projects and mentoring and all those other aspects of management. But now here's like the place where like you are really affecting lives, right?
Yeah, you're not like just throwing softballs up anymore. Like it's easy to deal with helping or assisting, even dealing with conflict sometimes, or having to step in and intervene in a situation. Not easy at first, but not that difficult. But this is an area where if you fuck this one up, then you lose people, or it really matters to people because they have families and goals and dreams and aspirations. And, yeah, it's a lot more of a sensitive subject, I guess. It's one of the more sensitive things you can deal with as a manager, I think. The most sensitive thing I've had to deal with so far.
And I was messaging with one of the people in your org late last night, and, you know, we were just kind of talking through the pressure of doing that kind of exercise, because inevitably if you do something wrong, you're going to hear about it, right? And you don't want to. I mean, you definitely, like, you care about your team and your people, and you want to make everybody happy as much as you can, assuming that they are performing, right?
Right.
And so, yeah, you don't want to make a misstep or make anybody's feelings hurt. And you want to make everybody whole and make everybody well, you know, assuming that there's any issues like that. So the weight, I guess, of management, like, really kind of came crashing down on me, like yesterday when that came through, and just something that I hadn't gone through. So thought might be interesting to talk about a little bit.
Well, and I want to contrast it a little bit too, because it's a lot different being in middle management than it is being your own entrepreneur, having your own business. Now, I didn't have many full-time employees. I mostly did contract workers or part-time employees, because the work was seasonal and it was really contract to contract for me. I wasn't that well established. I was in it for 5 years, and towards the end, it was getting to a point where I had regular people on most of the time because it was more than I could handle. But that's nice because you have the ability to really run it however you want to run it. You can give as much as you want. You don't need to get approval on this stuff. Whereas in our position, I feel like our hands are somewhat tied. Like and without getting into specific details, there's only so much you can really affect the outcome of. You can make suggestions, you can make recommendations, but at the end of the day, like you have a very narrow window or narrow amount of control on what you can do. There's only so much you can do, and then it's kind of up to people higher up.
You have some guardrails, right? Like you have your pile of money that you've been allocated.
Some money, yeah, right.
And you can do kind of with that what you want.
Yeah.
But only to some degree, because
limited control.
I mean, I could, let's just use us two, for example. And let's say we had one other person, right? If we're all on a team and somebody says, well, Mike's going to take the 80% of the pile of money. Well, that means that the other two people get what, 10%?
Yeah, right. I mean, you don't have unlimited budget, so it kind of pins people against each other a little bit in that way that you have to be really discriminate towards how you allocate from one to the other. And if somebody did a really great job and the pool is only so big, then you either have to not reward them as well as you would like to, or you have to take something away from what you'd like to give somebody else. So I don't know. Like, it'll be interesting to see how this process goes. Hopefully it'll work out, and hopefully people are happy with how things turn out. But yeah, it's not the most exciting thing I've ever done. I'm not really looking forward to it a whole lot, but I could be surprised too. We just got into it, just starting to learn a little bit about what might be coming down here. So I'm curious to see how it goes.
It's a little bit interesting from another level too. Like there's in the course of management, I mean, at least at our company, right, it goes kind of manager, director, VP, right? So there's kind of a 3-tiered approach.
Manager, what'd you say? Manager,
director, VP.
Yeah, right.
So it all bubbles up too. So like if Mike is a manager and he overextends, because it allows you to overextend your budget.
Yep.
That would now bump up to the next level, his director.
Yep.
And take from the director's pool of funds.
Interesting.
Right?
Yep.
And then again, that continues up the chain. So then from the VP to, of technology up to the CTO on up to the, president or CEO.
Yep.
It just keeps trickling up. So somebody's eventually got to throw the money in to cover the addition. So you have to stay within your budget as much as possible, or you're going to piss off your boss. Is I guess it's
going to be a problem.
The long story.
Yeah, yeah. I'm very interested to know more. I talked a little bit today with a colleague of mine just about how it's done other places, and I know like some of the larger firms. I mean, we've heard stories like Amazon, they cap out at a certain, because you really have 3 components to compensation, right? You've got like what your base or merit.
You got
right?
Salary, you have equity.
Salary, equity, bonus.
Mm-hmm.
And so I know that I've heard stories of Amazon capping out. I don't remember. Is it 180 or 250 or something? I don't know what the number is, but there's some number that everybody except Bezos and a few chosen ones maybe, like, doesn't matter how long you've been there or how many accomplishments you have under your belt, you're only going to get so much. There's a ceiling to the salary component. But then beyond that, you start getting mega bonus and equity type increases, right? I know that Microsoft, for example, we were talking about this today too. If you're a principal at Microsoft, you might be making around $200K a year in that position. And then there's 3 different levels of compensation there. So like ABC kind of a thing. And they're big on, Microsoft will kind of top you out salary wise, but then you can get anywhere from 40, 20, 40, or 50, what was it, 20, 40, 60, 20, 40, 50, as much as like 50% of your salary in bonus.
Bonus, okay.
Bonus.
So that's an interesting way to do it, because like I know a lot of times as you get further up the chain like that, like a lot of times what they'll do is throw equity at you, because what they want is they want you to have skin in the game to make the company successful, especially if you're in a leadership position.
It makes sense.
Right.
I mean, that you're going to bust your ass if you have money on the line. Big money.
So instead of salary continuing to bump up at some point, I mean, you still probably get some sort of salary increase, but now they're going to start throwing more equity your way, right? And maybe some bonus depending upon performance of the team and that sort of thing, but equity is probably going to be your big driver.
I mean, from what he was telling me, the bonus that you get for being in that role is pretty significant, and that's what he was saying. Is like every September 15th or whatever day it is when everybody gets their bonus checks and goes bonkers and buys Teslas and Maseratis and shit over in Bellevue.
Nice. There's a
So-
lot of those in Bellevue, I can tell you that.
Yeah, it's just very interesting to me. It's a subject I really don't know much about. I'm learning now, being into this role for the first time. It's very different than other times when I've been entrepreneur and had control of the business, because then you don't have to really answer to a board. You don't have to answer to a boss. You just kind of say, fuck it, I'm going to pay you this much, and if you don't work out, then you're out of here, and if you do, then great, or whatever. It's a very different scenario. So I'm really interested to see how this plays out. And there are... there's always outliers, I guess. Like most people probably fit into a pretty normal thing. You're going to get XYZ cost of living adjustment, and you might get a little bit of a performance bonus or whatever it is for doing a good job and targets for the year. But then you have outliers where it's like, oh, this guy got a promotion, or this guy we need to adjust their pay, whatever. And I'm curious to see how that kind of stuff gets resolved, So I don't know. First time doing it.
Same. So
Gonna learn a lot.
yeah, it'll be good. We'll figure it out. I think it'll be fine.
I'm not gonna sweat it though. I think it's part of the experience, and we were kind of reflecting on it at our little pre-funk that we do on Wednesdays. Time to stand. I'm sorry, I have to leave and stand according to the Apple Watch.
I just got that too.
Every 50 minutes after the hour. Can you shut that off? I fucking
Probably.
between that and the breathe,
Yeah.
breathe. Oh, thank you for the reminder.
Pretty sure you can turn the breathe one off at the very least.
I'm gonna kill that thing.
Yeah.
But we always pre-funk before the show a little bit, get a little snack, maybe a beverage, and we were talking. What were we talking about? Because I kind of forgot already. Just like for example, I like being in these positions of discomfort. I feel like I've been in more discomfort in this position than I have been in discomfort in other positions, at least in a long time. When I first came out here, I was freaking out about getting into development again, but that was like 7 years ago. So now I was really, I've had some freakouts. Do I want to leave development to go to DevOps? Big shift. Now I look at it, I'm like, oh, it's funny. Like, it's laughable. Why was I really worried about it? It's so dumb. I haven't lost anything. I'm not so far removed from development. I'm more engaged in what is happening here than I ever have been, because I'm looking at everybody across all the teams and using the systems, and I'm still going in there and helping out and making changes. So that was unsubstantiated fear that I had. But now it's like dealing with these things. Ooh, how do I deal with this situation? How do I have these tough conversations? How do I deal with it? It's all good. And in a year's time, I think we'll probably listen to this and be like, well, that was silly. There was nothing really to worry about there. It's not a big deal.
Learning and growing as we go. It's scary though. It's the first time you've done it, so it's unknown.
Well, and there's all these other fears that come with it too. You want to make people happy. You want to take care of your team. You want everyone to be in a good place, and you can't always do that. Hopefully we can. Hopefully this one works out. Everybody's good, but there are certainly cases where it doesn't, and then people leave. People get frustrated. So we're gonna have to deal with that at some point in time, probably. Hopefully not soon, but good experience.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know.
Awesome.
That's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, last thing on the notes here, I had this is something that I added kind of late because I've been putting a lot of thought into kind of goals and aspirations.
Okay.
It's New Year's time. We're past that, I guess, but usually kind of on the New Year, a lot of people will come up with their goals. Usually they fade away pretty quickly, right? I don't want to necessarily make things that are so large that they're unattainable.
Oh yeah, January 1st, man, I'm going big. Like, I'm not going to eat carbohydrates anymore.
Ever
Again, and I'm giving up alcohol.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to work out
have
5 days a week.
I'm going to have a $500,000 job in 6 months.
Oh, good for you, dude.
Yeah.
I think they talk about that in The Secret, right?
Not familiar.
I'm just kidding, man.
Okay.
It's like I haven't read the book, but it was like a really popular thing a while back, and it was like intention based. Like, if you put your intentions into the universe, kind of a thing. Like, then you can, kind of we talk about self-fulfilling prophecy.
Mm-hmm.
It goes the other way. It's like, well, it could be negative or it could be positive. So like, if you focus your energy on that kind of shit, which I'm not going to say there isn't some truth to it, but yeah, that's a little extreme, right?
If you just keep saying it's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, because it requires other things. It requires certainly action, potential. You have to have the ability to do that somehow. I mean, I don't think that you're just. I guess you could go get a lotto ticket and get $500,000.
And I guess that's kind of what this whole. I don't have like a really good thought breakdown of this, but that's kind of what I'm getting at with this. Is like, there's a difference between like a long-term goal,
Yeah.
and then like all the little series of steps that you need to get there that are much more bite-size,
Sure.
right?
Yeah,
And then
break
there's
it
like
down.
there's also like the idea of something. So like versus like a goal that you can hit. Like let's say a goal might be I want to run a marathon this year.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay. What are all the incremental little things that I need to do in order to get there? Well, maybe I should run a 5K.
That would
Maybe
be a
I
good
should
idea.
maybe I should run a 10K, right? There's little pieces that I can bite off
Yeah.
and make my way to that goal and achieve it, right?
That's right.
But then there's like aspirations, right? That are like, hey, I want to be I want to be a better person. I want to be I don't want to be a dick.
That's good. That's
Okay.
a good
How do
goal.
you achieve that? Like what are the concrete steps to achieve that? Like that you can't really like put markers down.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to just kind of think through this a little bit more and like how can I break up things that I want to complete this year and things that I want to do and change, and how do you plot those appropriately so you can document them? Because I think documenting them is very important. I used to do that all the time.
You got to write it down. You got to be able to see it. Otherwise, I think you'll just lose it just from that, right? I like to use visuals there. I'm a very visual person, so I don't have any sticky notes on my bathroom mirror at this point in time. But I used to be really big on that before, or even like when I was in college, I would nerd out on quotes all the time, and so like my dorm room, the door had all kinds of inspirational quotes, and I would like make these things in Photoshop and hang them up, and then sticky notes it was front of mind all the time, right?
You saw it every day.
Saw it every day on the way in, on the way out, whatever. So I think that helps a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, again, like I said, I don't have like a ton here. I want to like find a way that I can, because I used to do this like in the year in review video that I would do. As a part of that, I would also usually post a blog post at the time. And,
Yeah.
and usually I would put probably 5 goals that I wanted to accomplish for the year. They were generally pretty high level, and they were goals, I would say, things that you could concretely hit.
Yeah.
And I could have broken them down into smaller chunks, which is something that now that I work in the development space and work on an agile team, that's something I could see happening much, much easier because I tend to think in smaller bits like that now, just as a part of development. But yeah, just trying to think of how I can better plan and think of those things, because I'd like to get back to it. I haven't done it in a number of years.
I think that's the right approach. I mean, everything I've read on the topic seems to suggest that's the way to do it too. I think where I struggle right now is like just where I'm at in life, having gone through a lot of transition over the last few years. I mean, I'm actually in a much better place, but I have no idea. Like, part of me is really clueless. Like, I think I'm struggling a little bit from like an abundance of options, or having too many possibilities, and just like, what do you call that? Like, just too many choices, or I don't know I was thinking of a particular term, but like dude, I don't know. Like, do I want to be in a fucking relationship again? Like, what kind do I want to be in? Like, what would that look like? Like, do I want pets someday again? I don't know. Like, all these things were kind of figured out for me for a long time, for a lot of years. I didn't really have much choice in it. I had pets, I had a wife, I had all these things, I had a house, like whatever. So at this point, I feel a bit overwhelmed as to the opportunities that are there. I could, if I wanted to, pack up in my bags and go move to Spain tomorrow, right? I could do that. I don't think that's a good idea, but I could do that. And so I just feel overwhelmed by choice. And so I appreciate what you're trying to say, because I've always been very strategic that way. Like, I would always do some planning around, particularly on New Year's Day. Like, I always use that day because it was day off and it was a quiet day and things are closed. And so it was a good day to just sit down and map out, we would always map out where we're going to go travel, who we were going to go visit, who we wanted to see, what we wanted to do, some personal goals, some professional goals. And, for the last 3 years, I haven't done any of that at all. And I don't know. I don't know what I would even say right now. Like, I think things are going well, but I'm kind of directionless at this point. It's like, I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't have any clarity about this over that.
And I have some of that too, to a little bit of a degree. Like you might say, like an aspiration of mine is to become a VP of a company or a CTO of a company or something like that, right? Like,
Sure.
okay, fine. That's a good aspiration to have, but
Good
like, how do I
aspiration.
get there?
that makes a lot of sense. If you have something concrete like that in mind, then absolutely, I think, then you start to break it down. Well, I'm in this position. I'm a couple positions removed from it, or whatever. I think you have to look for other examples. What are other people, and who do you know that are in those roles, and what are they doing, and what was their pathway to get there?
Yep. But I think your Spain example is another really good one. Like, okay, I want to move to Spain. Fine. That's fine. That's a goal. That's a fine goal.
Yeah.
Right? What are the 100,000 steps that you got to do to get there, right? Like,
I mean, dude.
You need to go visit.
I could put my reservation in tomorrow, or my resignation in tomorrow.
Well,
I could cash my fucking bank account.
I mean, that gets back to our little meeting today about placing bets. I mean, yeah, you could bet on that, and you could make it work, but maybe that's not the greatest bet.
Well, I guess if you look at
risk.
it, I mean, in reality, it's just not a good goal, I don't think, in itself. Like, I've visited there multiple times. If I really was serious about that, I would need to have some sort of plan. Otherwise, certainly people do that, though. I mean, you have people that go and just say, fuck it, I don't know what the plan is. I'm just going to show up. I wouldn't want to do that. I did that with my first business when I was doing the home theater, right? Like, in retrospect, if I were to start a small business again, I would probably leave my day job when there weren't any more hours in the day, and I'm getting 2 hours of sleep because I'm working a full shift here and working another shift there. And at that time I was pretty young, and I just said, fuck it, I'm just going to quit my job and go for it, because I've always wanted to own my own business, and I want to have that experience. And it was the most painful 18 to 24 months of my life financially, because I didn't have a revenue stream that was coming in. It was very spotty and very up and down, right?
Yep.
So I don't think there's a formula you have to follow, but yeah, I think if you want to have better chance of success, or if the bet is going to be less risky, what's behind it? And I don't know. I guess I would say going to, like, I want to live in Spain. I don't know if that's a great goal unto itself. Like, maybe the goal is, well, I want to be bilingual, and I want to go teach English as a second language, and I want to immerse myself in the culture. I don't know. There's got to be more specific details that would lead to a pathway of how do I get from A to B, because just going there is pretty easy to do. And then once you're there, what the fuck are you going to do then?
This will be a fun one. I think we can follow up on this more too, as we kind of like figure out how it is that you might plot this stuff out and build it out. And, like I said, break up goals versus aspirations versus other types of, things that milestones or things like that. So
well, it's like we did talk about this in a previous episode about goals that were SMART goals, right? Like, I'm going to forget the acronym, but like specific, measurable, attainable,
right?
R-able, and T-able, whatever those are.
Trackable. You already had that.
Yeah. So I think, like, it's built into the premise, like, before, like, it has to be a good goal to start with, instead of just some intention of like, yeah, I want $500,000, or I want to live in Spain. I don't know. Not that couldn't work, but I think the more specific you can get is going to help identify what you need to do to get there.
Agreed.
Oh, that's an interesting topic. I would like to talk more about that, I think, because I've had those thoughts lately of what's next. Not necessarily like changing careers or any of that shit, because I'm very happy right now. I think the question of what's next, just like what am I striving to do next? What do I want to set up?
Right.
What challenge do I want to take on? I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah, it's a huge topic, but I'd like to, like I said, I'd like to get my thoughts around it and figure out what it is that I'm looking for, how I want to organize it.
Yeah.
How I want to organize my thoughts and move on. I do have one more question before we sign off here.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty important one. You brought up relationships here a minute ago.
Sure.
Do you believe in soulmates?
So I don't believe in the idea that there's like a 1-to-1 for somebody, right? I think there's like levels of compatibility, and that there's so many people, how many billions of people are out there now, that I think there's probably hundreds of people that, or more, that could be, compatible for you or for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The reason I'm asking that, I baited my wife into that one because she doesn't believe in soulmates. So I'm
really?
not her soulmate. So
I'm sorry to hear that.
So we'll wait for the bird to come in here.
Hey, you're the one who has to go home tonight there, not me, man. Good luck to you, sir.
I won't be getting a ride home.
I guess if Tesla doesn't have auto driving, you're going to take the bus home tonight.
Oh, yeah. She must have signed off. I don't see any birds coming through here.
No.
Well, that's episode 62.
Getting into some fun stuff. I think we should spend more time on the personal development side of things.
I'm very happy to do that. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Our artwork is provided by Yerny the Gentle Giant. Check out more of his artwork, www.coffeecodecast.com/gentlegiant. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, or email us at coffeecodecast@gmail.com. Podcast is available wherever you get your podcasts. And check us out at www.coffeecodecast.com.
And give us a review at coffeecodecast.com/review. Positive, negative, otherwise, like we just love to have your input and get the word out about the show so that we can reach more people. And thanks as always for tuning in. We'll see you here next week for episode 63. 63. Thank you, everybody. Have a good week.
6-3.
6-3.
See ya.